At the point when the Negev Israel organization needed to construct another street from Matzah to Jerusalem, its chiefs no question expected that it would be a sufficiently straightforward interaction. The region where the street was arranged wasn't remembered to contain any critical verifiable locales for a certain something. However, at that point, a review of the land uncovered something exceptional simply crawls underneath the surface, and archaeologists have uncovered a 9,000-year-old city in Israel that revises mankind's set of experiences. But before we get subscribing to our channel is the best way to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest historical journeys content. It's like having a direct line to our channel. Let's get started. The disclosure only 3 miles beyond Jerusalem was totally unforeseen and can possibly fundamentally change what we are familiar old Israel. As the dig proceeded and the sheer size of the site became evident, the amazement developed. In no way like this had at any point been viewed as before here, so specialists realize there was a lot to be examined and investigated. It's not the initial time something archaeologically critical has been tracked down in this piece of Israel close to the town of Matzah, yet it is the first of this size and significance. Presently, the specialists must be certain they learn all that they can about the site and safeguard, however much as could reasonably be expected while the roadworks proceed. The present status of Israel has existed beginning around 1948. Be that as it may, the locale has a set of experiences returning 1,000s of years. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all profess to be slipped from a man called Abraham, who lived in Old Israel. However, the previous is accepted to be in profound terms. They believe the area to be important for the blessed land. Such a great deal its set of experiences is personally connected to those religions. Throughout the span of the most recent 2,000 years, Israel have a place with the Roman realm, and its replacement, the Byzantine domain prior to turning out to be important, for a Muslim caliphate in the 7th century promotion. In the medieval times, European Christians and Center Eastern Muslims struggled for control of their holy destinations in the conflicts known as the campaigns. However, Israel's more old history is hard to be aware. Our primary wellspring of data is the Jewish Book of Scriptures, and checking its accuracy demonstrated troublesome. Moreover, the sacred texts that make up the Jewish Tanakh in the Christian Hebrew Scriptures were composed many years after the detailed occasions they portray. Specialists have expected to involve progresses in innovation to find whether the occasions in the good book truly occurred. For instance, disclosures made until now have proposed that the courses of events portrayed in the sacred text have been off. Furthermore, truly still questionable in a great deal of cases, particularly with regards to the most established book of Scripture stories. For example, we're really sure that the Israelites didn't thump down a Goliath mass of Jericho by blowing a trumpet. Be that as it may, whether or not Lord David ruled, the unified realm of Israel is somewhat more equivocal. There's one old engraving that specifies a place of David. However, it's muddled assuming it's connected with the scriptural figure. Unearthed likewise recommend that any realm administered by David should be more modest than the Holy Book claims, since there were no significant settlements nearby during the suitable time span. It's been proposed that David, on the off chance that he existed, was leader of a little and remote slope town, all in all a difference to the tales of his strong realm. Then again, the remaining parts of a fort on the slope of Cubic Chafrea do show that the region might have been surprisingly developed. The post doesn't seem to have been there for extremely lengthy, yet it's even more than you'd anticipate in a little slope town. Clearly, these new disclosures in the quest for scriptural responses appear to bring up additional issues. It's not until after the assumed that season of the unified Israel that archaeological proof turns into somewhat more clear. Late unearthings of scriptural importance incorporate Gath, which is evidently the origination of the monster Goliath. Gath was a Philistine city-state, and in the Jewish Book of Scriptures, Goliath was their hero who battled David. Despite the fact that Goliath was a lot greater and more grounded than his foe, the last option utilized a basic sling and stone to overcome his foe. Specialists who have been concentrating on the remaining parts of what is by all accounts whole accepts they might have a clarification for why Goliath was depicted as a monster. The unearthings uncover an enormous Iron Age settlement underneath later destroys that have proactively been investigated. Assuming the more established city was such a ton greater than others of the time, then, at that point, maybe it's a good idea that the Israelites saw its occupants as Goliaths. Going further back, in any case, it turns out to be much more hard to be familiar with Israel's history. The absolute most established human remaining parts in Israel originate before the Neolithic period and really come from the Paleolithic, during what is known as the Old Stone Age. They were tracked down in caves at Mount Carmel, somewhere in the range of 1929 and 1934 by English classicist Dorothy Garrett. Following these antiquated people were the Natufian of the Center Stone Age. These individuals might have been a portion of the first to eat consumable plants and fabricate super durable homes, possibly prompting the rise of horticulture in later years, as well as Israel. This general public likewise resided in what are currently Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. Be that as it may, let's return to current Israel and look at the Net of an Israel organization, which had been developing another expressway as a component of what's known as the Highway 16 undertaking. The arrangement was to construct a street from Matzah toward the western side of Jerusalem. The organization subsidized a dig by the Relics Authority. Be that as it may, what came about would amaze everybody. For a long time, history specialists and archaeologists accepted that this locale of Israel was uninhabited during the Neolithic time frame. All things considered, unearthings close to Matzah intersection uncovered something phenomenal: the remaining parts of an enormous settlement that was fabricated quite a while back. Jacob Barty, the locale's co-overseer of unearthings, let writers know that the site was a distinct advantage. He guaranteed that the city would have been a genuine city as a result of its size and populace, which would make it what might be compared to Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. The city traverses about a portion of a kilometer and probably elaborate cautious preparation by the manufacturers of the time. There is proof that the city might have once been the home of up to 3,000 individuals. Back streets run between enormous structures where there are public offices and residing spaces, as well as destinations where customs may whenever have been polished. The city is brimming with old adornments, puppets and apparatuses, as well as seeds and different antiquities. Elsewhere, thousands of things have been uncovered in the city. A portion of the devices are made of rock, while an initiate from the Bronze Age has likewise been found. Different weapons incorporate sharpened stones, stone armbands, and obsidian dabs from Anatolia. This proposes, obviously, that the progress might have had exchanging joins with different social orders. A few burial chambers in the city contain stone puppets that might have been essential for stately entombments. One burial chamber was 4,000 years of age and contained 2 fighters that had been covered with a lance and knife. It likewise incorporated a jackass, which had been entombed simply before the burial chamber, probably intended to go with them to the great beyond. The worth of this removal is inconceivable. There is even an old way in the lower regions which leads towards Jerusalem. Yet the momentous thing is the manner by which early it was fabricated. It is 1,000s of years more established than the pyramids in Egypt, which are viewed as one of humanity's most prominent old development projects. The Neolithic time frame as the normal name for the last piece of the Stone Age, and as you could expect, it's known for its stone apparatuses. In any case, it was additionally when horticulture was being laid out in the agrarian way of life, was being supplanted by settled living. Various regions of the planet saw this shift at various times, so when the Neolithic began is easy to refute. However, it most likely started around 10,000 BCE. Different developments of the Neolithic time frame remembered winding for the creation of ceramics. The structure of resolved networks likewise prompted struggle between various towns and towns. Perhaps the earliest spot to encounter the Neolithic rural transformation was the region of the Center-East known as the Rich Sickle, as it was great for cultivating. One of the principal settled networks in the Center-East were the 2 Finns who resided through the change from tracker social affair to settled residing. Moreover, Neolithic settlements have additionally been tracked down in Turkey and Syria, while the period alongside the Stone Age reached a conclusion when propels in metalwork prompted the start of the Bronze Age. It's not the initial time in any case that the site known as Foam Matza has demonstrated a beneficial region for archaeologists. It's home to numerous capacity structures and grain storehouses from different authentic periods. In 2012, an old sanctuary was found during other street building arrangements. Foam Matza would have been worked close to quite a while back during the Hour of the Realm of Judah. The progress from tracker social event to settled living additionally changed how old individuals venerated. This period saw them make more mind-boggling strict customs. Alongside sculptures and different decorations, dolls and ceramics have been found at Foam Matza, including goblets and bowls that would have been utilized in strict services. Foam Matza would have had enormous walls and a great entry specialists, except as it pointed toward the east. This would have implied the rising sun could stream into the structure and enlighten the holy items, a typical element in old sanctuaries in this region of the planet. There was likewise a yard at the focal point of the sanctuary, highlighting archaeologists' thought process was presumably a special stepped area. There's not much of proof of formal conduct in this piece of Israel during the Hour of Foam Matza, and this makes the sanctuary additional important. The reality it is so close to Jerusalem is likewise fascinating in light of the fact that in later years, numerous sanctuaries would be annulled as all strict ceremonies moved to Jerusalem. Cutting-edge Matza was implicit the region known as Colonia during the 18th 100 years, when a gathering of Jewish families bought the site from its Bedouin home. It turned into a farming settlement, the first of its sort, where a scope of vegetables and uncommon organic products were developed. Specialists are currently re-examining all that they assumed they had some awareness of Neolithic settlements in the Center East as a result of the new city. Vardy even alluded to the site as the enormous detonation with regards to its importance in ancient examination. The main other Neolithic locales any place close by are in the northern Levant or on the opposite side of the Jordan Stream. Other old locales in Israel incorporate Jericho, which was perhaps the earliest ever human settlement and has starting points going back as much as 9,000 years. Most archaeologists might have concluded that the Israelites didn't annihilate the walls of Jericho. However, that doesn't mean there weren't any walls. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a thing.